And I trust, and in Amen I deliver this message. In the name of Amen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, the one and only true Lord. In Amen we trust, in Amen we thank, and in Amen we continue forward forever. Good evening, I'm your host, the Intellectual Lord Benjamin Manhattan. This is Supreme American TV, and I'm going to be speaking on why black and white people will cease to exist in the fourth dimension of the Lord. Because those of you who listen, who are familiar with my nightly broadcast, I talked about how we are moving into a higher definition, a higher dimension, a higher extension of ourselves. We are evolving as people. We are evolving. The planet is evolving. Everything is evolving, growing into something greater, something else. But with evolution, with every sort of evolution, everybody's not going to evolve. Not all people are meant to evolve in a order of evolution, because evolution is an order, meaning that it's a structure. All right. Evolution is an order, right? A structure, a space and time, or spaces and times in which things are meant to fill those spaces and time, extended things that are meant to fill those spaces and times. You see, You have next level things that come in, knowledge that has always been moving forward, that is meant to extend the people, the spaces, the times, and everything that we are moving through. We're supposed to be evolving as a people. We are supposed to be evolving as a people, a real people, an extended people. And part of that evolution is to bypass blackness. Bypass blackness. Why? Because black and white are fleeting. The concept of black and white, which was created by the racist Caucasians, who were colonists trying to create a hierarchy of immigrants over the indigenous people. Remember, I said when you hear them say black and white, what they're really saying is immigrant and indigenous. Black and white is immigrant and indigenous. The black, so-called black people are your indigenous people, and your immigrants are the white people. Same way it is in South Africa, same way where it is whenever colonialists come into a place and take over the country and the resources and whatnot, they make the indigenous people, or they tend to make the indigenous people second-class people. And that's just what happened here in America. Thus the term black and white people. That's really a system of a dual system of racism. This society runs on a dual system of racism. They try to hide that fact, but you're seeing it more and more every day. You see that this society runs not on law, not on order, which is an illusion. It runs on a dual system of racism. That's why you got people who, so-called black people who are labeled black people, aka the real American indigenous people, because if we were truly African Americans, they would call us as African Americans. They would have been called us African Americans. The same way they was calling when the Italians, the French, the Germans, the Irish came over here, they was calling them Irish American, French American, Italian American. We would have been African American a long time ago. But the reason why we're not African American, or never were African Americans, because we are indigenous to America. They went about erasing the racist colonists, Caucasians, Europeans went about erasing us as a people, erasing us as an American indigenous people. And then they start playing with our history, right? Erasing our history, burying over our mounds, our places that we inhabited before they did. Remember, these people are foreigners on our land. America is a bronze country. America is a bronze country. It is not a white country. It is not a brown country. It is not a black country. It is a bronze country. We are bronze people. And this is the reality of this coming into who we are. That's why black and white got to go. Black and white got to go. Black and white has to go first and foremost, because there's no such thing as black people or white people. And as we're moving closer toward the fourth dimension, that space of completion, because the fourth dimension represents a square. The fourth dimension represents a square. Right now, we're in a third dimensional space, a triangular space. That's why everything goes in threes here. People, place, and possession, right? Everything goes in threes here, because we are in a triangular space, a triangular dimension that needs to be completed by that fourth angle to make a square. And when that happens, which it is going to happen, that is taking place, we are moving toward that. This is evolution, to be able to move from a three-dimensional space into a fourth-dimensional space. That is a next stage of power, a next stage of illumination. And in that next space that we are coming into, in that extended space we are coming into as we evolve, there is no more black and white. There is no more black and white. I'll take care. I see. I got you. Thank you. Well, I'm in the middle of something, talking to my wife. But I'll take it. All right. Sorry about that. Always busy. But anyway, so as we are evolving and extending into a higher space, right, there's not going to be any more black and white. Remember, black and white was just some limited form of erasure. It was meant to be a limited form of erasure to create, because they didn't really want to. When I say they, I'm talking about the racist immigrants, the racist European immigrants who set up the United States government here, they didn't want to really have or accept the indigenous people, the bronze copper colored people, the real Americans. They didn't really want to accept them into the new order that they were setting up, or the new system they were setting up. Excuse me. It wasn't an order. It was a new system they were setting up. They didn't want to accept the bronze indigenous people into the new system that they were setting up that was going to be called the United States of America. So they started to do what? They started to erase our people. They started to violate our people. They started denying rights to our people. And over time, we became known as Black people, the American indigenous people, you know, who were slaves here, who were made slaves here in this country. Not all, but a good deal. You know, they were, you know, subjugated, segregated, and, you know, pushed aside and had their indigenous claims to land denied, and had the government just basically steamroll over our people. And this has been happening ever since, under calling us Black people. You see, they wanted us to, the racist government of immigrants, they wanted us to declare ourselves Black people. See, they were trying to declare us Black people since the, 20th century, the beginning of the 20th century. They were trying to declare us Black people, because they had already declared themselves white people back in the, I want to say in the 1500s. A man by the name of William Bleckley, in the 1500s, that made up that term white people for all Europeans, or people, most Europeans coming over. Really, wasn't a lot of them. It was like English, Scottish people had that ancestry. They didn't consider Irish and the Italians all white yet. That didn't come to the 20th century, but they pretty much tried to take all European Caucasian people and create a new race called white people here in America. And they were trying to make us, over time, Black people, Negroes and things like that. So that was more meant to be a social classification and a racial identification, because that way they wouldn't have the confusion of, dispatching land and money and things like that to bronze indigenous people. They didn't want to give us anything. They wanted to give it to the white immigrants. They wanted to give all of our land to white immigrants and push us to the side and force us to be the labor force, get us to be the labor force for white immigrants. That's why this country supported slavery, because they couldn't, the so-called newly named white people couldn't sustain American soil because they're not native to it. They're not natural, I should say, or not natural, indigenous to it. So they didn't know how to do it. So they needed the indigenous people, like they always use our people when they can't, when the racist government here, when they can't deal with certain situations, like in the military. They at one point in time, they didn't want us to fight in the military, but then when they seen that a lot of their people were going to be dying, a lot of their men were going to be dying, and that it'll still be a bunch of so-called black men walking around while these men are out dying. That's really why they wanted so-called black men to fight the war, because they thought about it. They was like, well, all these white men are going to be fighting the war and dying and killing each other, while all these black men are here walking around, free, pretty much, because if everybody's fighting, who's going to be there to enslave you if everybody's fighting? So that's why they made so-called black people start joining the army and the military. And it has been happening like that ever since. It was a way to basically send you into a death zone so that you would die and maybe not make it back. And, basically use you as slaves in the military, slaves in the Olympics. See how they went and got Jesse Owens. Here it is. This is a place in 1936 where they was lynching so-called black people and all this other, calling our people niggas, but they sure went and got a nigga to do their bidding for them, run the Olympics and do everything for them. So they had to go and get an Indigenous American to bring back the medals for the United States. They had to go with a real American, Jesse Owens. You see? So we American when they want us to be American, when they want our music, when they want our entertainment, when they want our accomplishments, our inventions. That's when they want to call us American. You see, that we're not black then, or they want to just call us American. When we have something to contribute here to America, which we always had something to contribute, then we American. But when they don't feel like you know, have nothing to contribute, then you black. You see, a Black American. But this is why a lot of this is going to fade away. You see, exactly. They use us more than we use ourselves. They use you more than you use yourselves. Black has been a way that they could use our people. Black has been the biggest way that they used our people, having us answer to black. You see, because while our people are answering to black, you don't understand. That's where you put all. See, let me explain to you the economics of being black. You know, let me explain the economics. You know, when you have people who are identified as black, when you have people who are identified as black, right? You already start wherever these so-called black people are, these people who are labeled black, you already know you're going to redline their areas. You're going to make sure that there's no money flowing through the areas. You're going to make sure that the government denies them any kind of money to open up businesses in their area, right? You're going to make sure that it's an impoverished area if it's a so-called black area. And then what do? You create, once you make sure it's an impoverished area, black area, then of course, people, you think, you know, you're going to police that area. You're going to have people that's going to commit crimes in that area, or you're going to criminalize that area. So you'll send in your white police. And if people walking in the damn street, JJ walking, if you spit on the corner, oh, that's a fine. You know, basically anything you do, they criminalize. You know, then of course liquor stores go in your neighborhood that's owned by other people, and they sitting here making money off of your misery, selling you alcohol, selling you bad food, right? Because they could put all the bad food in your area because you a red line area, and the government don't care if you get spoiled with old food in your neighborhoods. We used to see that for years. When I grew up in Brownsville, I used to go to supermarkets and see chicken that's damn yellow chicken. I didn't know for the longest time chicken was supposed to be white, till we start going to the Muslims and getting our chicken and whatnot. But like I said, selling us old food, old stores, when they allow these people to come in. See, there's money in promoting blackness. There's money in that. You see, one of the people, I didn't know this for the longest time. One of the people that was back in the Nation of Islam, a man by the name of H.L. Hunt, if I'm not mistaken, he was known. I think he had a food company that sold a lot of bad foods to black people. So-called in black neighborhoods, sold a lot of old bad food to black people. And he might be the one that owns Hunt's Ketchup and all that. H.L. Hunt, that was the man who was giving the Nation of Islam money, right? Some Caucasian. So, you know, when they're able to push bad foods into your neighborhood and make profits off of selling bad food in your neighborhoods, you know, they get the companies, they get tax breaks and things like that for employing people. So it's a whole industry made off of you being black people, and it's always white people that's benefiting from it. They make more money off of you being black than you make money off of being black. You see, off your music, off your talent, your entertainment. Because when I say that, they label it black talent, black entertainment, because you can sideline it. You could put it certain place. You could sideline it, and then you can get your people to copy that. If you own all the publishing to the music, you own the teams they play for, you own all that. So you're making money off of black talent. Black people are not allowed to make money off of black people. You know how? Because again, if that was true, where's your NBA and your NFLs and all that? Because all the damn talent in those leagues are so-called black people, American indigenous people. All the football players, the basketball players, people go to sports events to see bronze people, American indigenous people. Yet y'all don't make no money off it. And I'm not talking about the salaries they pay the damn basketball player, because that's nothing compared to what the owners make. That is nothing. There should be at least half the damn league should be owned by bronze. The team should be owned by bronze people. Why don't one bronze person own the team? And better yet, why don't all those bronze men get together, so-called black men get together and say, hey, you know what? We need to start our own league, and we could be a league separate from the NBA. We could still play for the NBA, but we're going to take our money and start our own league, even if it's a small league, something that they can own. You see? Even if it's a street ball league. They could just be something they own, where they could play players and whatnot, and they could start small. But see, so-called black, because, you know, you programmed to be black people, y'all don't think like, black people don't think like that. Notice we had that mentality because you had the Negro leagues, you had the baseball leagues, and you had black owners, so-called black owners, bronze owners who owned the baseball league. And I told you that a lot of white people was coming to watch black baseball players. They was coming to watch the black baseball team. They was starting to compete with the National Baseball League, the white league, because they start seeing that the black people, the so-called black men, were better athletes. They run fast, and move better, and they made the game exciting. Same thing with basketball, football, and everything else. And they had their own leagues, but you see how they try to make it seem like they was doing bronze people a favor by taking Jackie Robinson and so-called black people into these leagues, but they were actually making money for themselves. They absorbed all of the so-called black talent. You see? They absorbed all of the black talent. That was done purposely. Y'all think they did something good by letting Jackie Robinson, these niggas up there talking, yeah, Jackie Robinson, he getting in the major leagues now. Let me tell you something. The only reason why these crackers do anything that seem like it benefits you is because it's going to really benefit them. The only reason they do anything is because it's going to really benefit them. Having Jackie Robinson in baseball benefited them because the Negro leagues was making money. When they started taking all the best players from the Negro leagues and bringing them into the National Baseball League, the NBL, when they started doing that, that basically broke the Negro leagues. That was the whole point. They don't want to see us making money. They don't want to see us making money. Like here in New York, right? Back in New York, I'm saying here in New York, when I was in New York. Now, from what I'm hearing, there's a whole bunch of dispensaries. There's a whole bunch of marijuana dispensaries popping up all over Brooklyn and Manhattan and whatnot. And of course, they run by Caucasians and Arabs. They're run in so-called black neighborhoods. They're opening up dispensaries to sell marijuana. Now, the guys who's sitting up in jail who was selling weed and bud and all that stuff, sitting up in jail doing 5 and 10 years, they can't get a dispensary license. You wouldn't let them say, oh, marijuana is bad. But now that white people moving into New York, Caucasians, now all of a sudden ain't nothing wrong with bud no more. Marijuana is decriminalized now. You can smoke marijuana in New York. You can buy from a dispensary in New York. And the only reason they decriminalize marijuana because they want white boys to make money. They want Caucasian males to make money off it. They don't want you so-called black men to make money. That goes right back to what I said about us being the American indigenous people, the real Americans. They're not trying to see us with nothing. They don't want to see us with anything. Meaning your European Caucasians who calling themselves American. They want us gone. They hate the fact that the real Americans are here. They hate that. So you got to walk around with your head down being called African American and black. They want you to play this goddamn lie, this game with them where you can't be who you really are. You see? That's what the thing is. Right? Do you feel what I'm trying to say? White woman craves our seed at its subconscious is a subconscious thing. Yeah, selling poison weed. Yeah. That's what a lot of them they coming in these areas doing. But my point is that, as time goes forward and you're going to have those who are going to extend and evolve mentally, it's not going to be any more black and white. Black and white is getting played out. Black and white is too small. People are outgrowing black and white. Okay? What people are starting to see is that, these so-called black people who everybody follows our culture, like I said, too much is coming out that our culture is American culture. And it's going to come a time where we're going to be seen as the Indigenous Americans, as the American indigenous people. No more black. We have to start that trend amongst ourselves. We're going to be seen as the American indigenous people, as just Americans. And everybody else is going to be seen as American immigrants. You're going to have American indigenous and American immigrants. One AI, the real AI versus the artificial AI. The natural AI, the American indigenous people versus the American immigrants, the implants. The implants. And that's how you should see all people, those of us who are so-called black Americans. Keep in mind, like I said, we just American. And everybody else is American immigrants. That's how we see it. We American, and everybody else is American immigrants. Class, y'all clear on that? No more black, no more white. We have to start that trend first and foremost. We American. Everybody else is American immigrants. Y'all see what I'm saying? And once we put that in the ether, once we put that in the ethers, we put that out in the air, then after a while, that's what it's going to be. Because look, too much of our culture is ingrained in America, from our music to our dance. That can't nobody deny that. Nobody can sit up here and they right state of mind claim we come from Africa, and our music, our dance, our everything is American, thoroughly American. None of that stuff you find. None of our dances, none of our energy, our how we move, as y'all say, swag. None of that is found in Africa. None of that is found in Africa. The Africans trying to copy. A lot of the Africans are trying to copy us. And y'all have to understand, I want my people to stop with this, we originally from Africa. No, we are not originally from no Africa. We are originally from America. Why do they always try to make it seem like America can't have an indigenous population? Ask yourself that question. Notice that. Why does the white man always make it seem like America didn't have an indigenous population? Just like they'll say Europe had an indigenous population, which is supposed to be Caucasian, which they really not. The original indigenous inhabitants of Europe is so-called black people, American indigenous people. Asia, they'll say the Asians are there, and then they'll say that so-called black people are from Africa, right? But they never say, well, who comes from America? If you saying that everybody came from someplace else, then who originally comes from America? Don't say the so-called Native Americans, because they're not. That's been debunked already. They're Asians. They are Asians. They are not American. They trace their bloodline back to Asia. They came from Asia into America, or were brought here as slaves by the Spanish, Euro-Spanish into Mexico and South and Central America, and then they made their way over into North America. That's how they got here. They are not American either. They're not American Indians. So who's indigenous American? Who? If you saying all so-called black people come from Africa, which is a lie. If you saying that these so-called Native Americans was here before, and that's a lie, because we debunked that, because the Lucia woman is a so-called black woman. Would be a black, so-called black American. She looks like a black American woman, a modern day black. She don't look African. She don't have no big broad features, none of that. She looks like an American indigenous woman. This is the skull of a woman they found, the oldest woman in America, the oldest person in America, excuse me, not just woman, but the oldest person is a so-called black woman. How that happened if we was brought from Africa? How that happened? How the oldest person found here is a so-called black person? How is it that all of those mounds that are being found in Mississippi and all over the place, in Louisiana, that's called Native American or American Indian burial grounds? Why is it all bronze people in there? Why is it all so-called black people in those burials? And y'all labeling them American Indian burial grounds, but it's all black people. There ain't no mongoloids in there. It's all so-called black people in there. Answer: because this is our country and we the only real Americans. I keep telling y'all that. Stop with this all life started in Africa. The only reason they say that, oh, everybody came from somewhere, and they try to make it seem like America was empty. That's a damn lie. That's a lie. Because they immigrants, they want everybody, the white man, these Caucasians, these racist Caucasians who make up this history, make up and lie about history, because they're immigrants to America. Everybody got to be an immigrant to America, including you so-called black people, because they can't stand the fact that this is really our country and that we are indigenous to America. So because they can't be part of that indigenous heritage, everybody come from Africa. Nobody's indigenous. You see, that's why they want you to believe everybody come from someplace else. Yeah, they want America. They want America to be an immigrant place. But see, and again, this proves that we're not immigrants. Look at how much hatred everybody got for us here in America. The Asians don't like our people. The Caucasians don't like our people. The Hindus don't like our people. All the people with the straight fur, the dog hair, all the dog hair people don't like the woolly haired people. Why? Because the woolly-haired people are indigenous to America. They're all on our land. They are all immigrants. We're the only ones who are not immigrants. We're the only real Americans. And see, that's why they want to, and that show, that just follows how they do everything this ours. When it's our stuff, it's everybody's stuff. Like our music, blues, that ain't black music. That's everybody. That's American music. Because when they say American, they mean everybody. Jazz, that ain't black music. That's American music, which means it's everybody music. Because anything we make, they take and they spread it out with it. Hip hop, R&B, soul, that ain't black music. That's rock and roll. That's everybody. They had the dirty call Elvis Presley the king of rock and roll, and here it is. He copying after a whole American indigenous man. He's copying after a whole American indigenous man who wrote his songs and everything. And he's mimicking this man's voice. Otis Blackwell, shout out to Otis Blackwell, who Elvis Presley copied from. I mean, verbatim down to the voice, that tone that he's singing. That's a so-called black man he's mimicking. That's a black American indigenous man he's mimicking. Yet you call him the king of rock and roll. Just like when y'all sit here and call Eminem the king, the rap god, he copying black men. And he don't sound no better than these so-called black men. He good, but he don't sound no better than them. You got people that can rap that white boy under the table. But they want to make it seem like they conquering something that you created. See, because they don't have no culture, so they have to steal from you. Just like they had to steal your homeland. They had to steal America. They had to steal your culture. Everything they steal from you. Country music is stolen from black people. Black Americans. So-called black American indigenous people. You see? Y'all got to wake the hell up, man. You see? And what's holding our people back is this whole black thing. That's what's holding our people back. This African-American black thing. That's what's holding our people back, man. We holding ourselves back. Why the hell ain't we standing up as Americans? As American indigenous people? Why the hell ain't we doing that? Why ain't your so-called pro-blacks out here? And that's a question I'm going to do a cast on that. Why is it that the so-called pro-blacks out here that's talking about black this and black that and black first and FBA and all that, why are they downplaying our American indigenous heritage? You ever notice that? You ever notice Tariq Nasheed? No disrespect to Tariq Nasheed, I like his stuff. But if you ever notice Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black, and all these other guys out here who's supposed to be talking up for black this and black that, why are they always downplaying our American indigenous heritage? Why are they always downplaying that? They act like black is a real race. Black is not a damn race. Black don't lead to nothing. And they damn sure don't know, black damn sure ain't linked to no Africa. That's just some nonsense the white man made up. So if they don't realize that the whole black and African American and white thing is some nonsense made up by racist Caucasians, if they don't realize that, then there's one or two reasons why they don't realize that. Number one, these niggas are slow. They either slow and they don't really know anything. Because how is it that you can supposed to be a scholar and you up here doing all these broadcasts? You don't know that black Americans are the real American indigenous people, the real American Indians. You don't know that? I had somebody come, it was somebody came up there and said that to, I think, the guy Jason Black, and he was like trying to rebuff it, like, because he believed in the African, transatlantic African slave story. So my thing is, if you believe that BS, then you ain't that smart. Black authority, you not that smart. If you believe that we was brought over here on slave ship to Tariq Nasheed, or that we African, you really not that smart. You can't tell a lie when you hear one. You can't tell a damn lie. That black American, ain't nobody bring us from no damn Africa. We know how Africans look, and they don't look like us. You could tell that the Egyptians are the ancient Egyptians. I'm gonna do a cast on that. Is ancient Egypt and the ancient American is ancient Egypt an American society or an African society? Ancient Egypt is an American society, but I'm gonna touch on that. But y'all get what I'm saying, though? Why isn't there all these so-called pro-blacks out here? Why are they downplaying our American Indian heritage? You got all hundreds upon hundreds of American indigenous tribes that's still together. Bronze indigenous American tribes. They ain't got nothing to do with these Mongolians. Ain't got nothing to do with these Mongol Native Americans. You got a lot of bronze indigenous people out here, people who not affiliated with tribes. You got a lot of our people out here who not mixed with no Mongoloid. Well, now we was already American Indians before these Mongoloids came here. We go back to South and Central America. We came from South and Central America, from one part of America to the next part of America, North America, and we were the first people into North America as the Aztec and the Mayans. And from those nations broke up all these different Indian tribes. That's where they came from. So we were already in America, first people in America, indigenous to America, and walked from South America into Central and North America. That's how we got here. Nobody brought us here. That's a lie. Nobody brought us here. We've been in America. They always want to lie and make it seem like everybody in America came from someplace else. No, they came from someplace else. So they got to make it like we came from someplace else, so that we don't feel as though we have any right to this land. Yes, in the hell we do. Yes, in the hell we do. Yes, in the hell we do. Exactly. Egypt is an American society. You know how you know that? Look at now. Let me show you something. How you know that? You look at the people over there in Egypt today. You look at a lot of those people. A lot of them got that heavy African look to them. And then you got certain people that got they naturals out there, they amphros out in the braids. You look at the people on the wall. They had waves in their head. They had amphros. They had braids. They had American indigenous hairstyles. You know, now y'all know real Africans can't grow hair. Real Africans cannot grow hair. I used to hear the dumb Israelites used to sit up here and talk about, yeah, see them people on the wall, those are your Nilotic people. That guy, Chronicles of Judas, said that BS. These are the Nilotic people. They all tall and they got like the African look. They do not. They were not. The people on the walls in ancient Egypt were copper-colored people with amphros, braids, and twisted locks. Those were the people on the wall in ancient Kemet. Those were American indigenous people, and was not no Africans on the wall. Because you see in a lot of pictures, they had the Africans in chains, just like they had the Caucasians in chains. They had people in bondage. You had men on the wall with amphros and braids and whatnot, and they had Caucasians in bondage, Asians in bondage, and black-ass dark Africans in bondage with short BB buckshot hair. So that goes to show you that there's not the same people. Y'all clear on that? Look on the walls. Look on the walls in ancient Egypt. Look on the walls in ancient America. It's all the same people doing the same drawings. The same people. Same people on the walls. Same copper-colored people. You see? You know, they said, somebody was saying, you know, they were smoking marijuana back then. Hey, and I'm going to just keep it real with you. They were smoking marijuana back then, smoking tobacco, and they was probably smoking cocaine. Yeah, them niggas was getting high back then. Yes, they was. And I'm not advocating that, but like I said, they were smoking because they found in a lot of the mummies, they said, in a lot of which was bronze people, they found a lot of the mummies here in North America and in Egypt. They found cocaine in their bodies, they found marijuana in their body, and they found tobacco in their body. Now, these are all things grown in America. Cocaine comes from America, South America, Central America. It don't grow in Egypt. So how they get that from Egypt? How they get that from American marijuana and tobacco? All that's American stuff. That don't grow in no Egypt and all that. So how they get into the pharaohs? Obviously they was transporting it and they was using it. Obviously they was going. If they was transporting, that means they had boats coming from America and going into Egypt. Right or wrong? You see, obviously they had boats going in. You see, if they was able to get marijuana, tobacco, and cocaine and all that other stuff, niggas was partying back then, and niggas ain't changed. They was getting high, getting drunk. They had beer back then. They was getting, everybody was screwing each other. Everybody was doing that, having, you know, and building civilizations. But obviously they was transporting the stuff. And if they had ships to transport stuff, people was going over there. People was going over there. People was leaving the Americas and circumnavigating the globe. They was going to different places. Some place they went to, some place they didn't get off their boats and they kept going. You see? So all I'm saying is that, you know, with all this knowledge coming out as to who we are as Americans, remember I said, I'm raising my people up as Americans. That's why I Supreme American TV. We ain't promoting no ancient Egypt over here. We ain't promoting no Africa over here. We're not promoting no black stuff over here. We're not promoting nothing but American. Who we are as American indigenous people. The real copper-colored race, the real bronze people. That's all we promoting over here. The supreme American. We are the supreme Americans, the only real Americans. Y'all clear on that? You see, and we have to have a community that reflects that. That's why there is the Republic of America, the Indigenous Republic of America, which everybody who considers themselves to be American indigenous, I'm talking about our real American indigenous people from all over, because we got American indigenous people everywhere. We got American indigenous people in North America, South America, Central America, South Africa, parts of Africa. We got people everywhere. You know how Americans look. And they not Caucasians. They not Asians. They not none of those places. Those people come from elsewhere. So we need to be standing up for who we are as Americans. Not as no Africans, not as no nothing else, not as black people. Because I'm going to tell you this. You notice that it's been a strong, there's been a strong turn, and there's been a strong turn and the approval of so-called black people. In other words, you start to see all these different races turn on black people. You see, it's a very strong, a very strong sense of, it's a very strong sense of, disdain. That's the word I was looking for. A very strong sense of disdain for so-called black. Yeah, I've been noticing that. Every time I turn around the news, I'm seeing a lot of racial stuff's happening. And why is that? Because black is becoming a thing of the past. Our people are going to have to stand up as Americans. We're going to have to stand up as an American community. I've been saying that. That's why we have the Republic of America. So for our people who want to become registered Americans in the Republic of America, and when we say registered Americans, we mean registered Americans as a community, because we're not going to be able to go forward as black people. Okay? We're in a time of reality. We're moving into that fourth dimensional space. The fourth dimensional space is the space of reality. Like, for example, y'all ever heard the terminology, the fourth wall? If y'all ever heard the terminology, the fourth wall, that's a terminology that is used in television and film production, the fourth wall. Okay, I'm going to explain to you briefly what the fourth wall is. In television, there's three walls, right, that the actor has to look to. You can look to your left, you can look to your right, and you can look behind you, but you can never look forward into the camera, because if you do that, that's called breaking the fourth wall, because that's the fourth wall of reality. That breaks all of the, lie that this is a production, that these actors are real people they portraying. It breaks that illusion, because now you're looking at the public. That's the same way we're moving into the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is putting away all this lies and all this fantasy, because this nonsense that we black people, that they white people, that we came from Africa and they brought us somewhere like we was some damn cargo, like they moving furniture. That's a load of BS, man. I told you, as we're moving toward the fourth dimension, the truth is coming out. The real truth is coming out. That's why there had to be a Supreme American TV, so that the real Americans could stand up. So that the real Americans can stand up. Join the Republic of America, ROA worldwide. Join the Republic of America. This is an American community. This is not no African American community. It's not no black community. This is an American community for bronze people. This is an American community for bronze people, where we're starting over again. We're starting over again, going forward. Not backward, going forward. We're starting over again as Americans, and we're going to learn American principles, law, and order amongst ourselves as an American community. That's where we're going with this. We have to purify ourselves as Americans. Why? Because we're the only real Americans here. It don't make sense for you to try to purify yourself as no Muslim or no Christian or no Israelite. Man, all that's garbage, man. All that's garbage. All that's nothing but a bunch of made up philosophy, this God and Jesus nonsense. I debunked God and Jesus a long time ago, and that it was really nothing but the manifestation of white supremacy. God and Jesus is nothing but the manifestation of white supremacy. And I'm gonna do a video on that, so our people could put down the God and Jesus, put down the damn cross, stop worshiping the image of the white man as Jesus and God. And stop trying to paint Jesus and God as black people. There is no Jesus. There is no God. That's some creation, some fantasy of the so-called white man. Y'all clear on that? I had to say that before I wrap this up. You see, our people have to go forward as the Americans. Stop with this African American black stuff. Because again, all that's played out. All of it done played itself out. And like I said, any of these so-called pro-blacks out here who still tell me we black people out here and all this, man, cancel these Negroes, man. It's time to cancel a lot of these Negroes. All right? It's time to cancel a lot of Negroes. A lot of Negroes who want to be black, want to be African American, you know, want to be Christians, Muslims. Man, listen, we got to get ourselves right as Americans. Because for all the nonsense the Israelites can talk, I don't see them guys going to Israel no time soon. I don't see none of them guys going to make a trip to Israel. I seriously doubt if any of these guys are going to make a trip to Israel. Or make a trip to, the Muslims make a trip and go live over there in Saudi Arabia. Where you're not going to be welcome. Because they got just as much racism over there as the damn white man. They the original. Don't you know, you fools know who calling yourself Muslims and whatnot? Don't you know that the Arabs don't see you as their brother? They see you as a damn convert. They'll call you a nigga in a heartbeat too. They'll come up in your neighborhoods and be screwing your damn sisters and have them in the damn back when they need for some turkey and cheese while they come and disrespect your neighborhood and make money and take it out of you. And you dumb niggas sit up there and tell, yeah, Aki, yeah, my Aki, yeah, Aki. Which means brother in Arabic, because a lot of you niggas are converts in Islam. A lot of you Negroes are converts in the white man's Arab religion. You see? Because, and like I said, y'all sitting up here believing in some white man's religion, some white man religion who's doing nothing but really teaching you Catholicism, because that's all Islam is. It's Arab Catholicism. That's what you sitting up here following, putting your energy into, banging your head on the damn floor, getting black marks on your head. The only thing that transfers over with us concerning Islam is the fact that we don't eat no swine. But here's the thing. We wasn't eating pork before we was Muslim. We wasn't eating pork. I'm talking about the American indigenous people, because number one, there was no pigs in America. The white man brought pigs into America. And because we were denied we were denied to go out and hunt buffalo, because a lot of the slaves couldn't go out and hunt. They, you know, and if they anything, they made us hunt for them, but we couldn't go out and hunt animals and whatnot. So what we did, they gave us the pigs to eat. They know we didn't eat no pork because there wasn't no pigs in America. The Spanish brought pigs over here. The Euro-Spanish brought pork over here. They brought pigs over here because they was eating pig. They still a bunch of big swine eaters. You see? So, exactly. Black, African American, Negro is dead, man. We moving into an extended space. We supposed to be those fourth dimensional Americans, man. We supposed to be those 4D Americans. That's where we supposed to be headed to. I mean, like, damn, like, how long y'all still gonna be falling for this black and African American thing? Again, when I hear a lot of these guys talk, and I like Tariq Nasheed, I like Jason Black. They got some good commentary, but it just seemed like these guys are like willfully slow when it comes to the black thing. I'm like, why are you sitting up here trying to convince us that our skin is black? We don't got no black skin. What are you talking about? You see, yeah, the poppy plant. Yeah, the poppy plant. All the poppy plant is indigenous to America. They didn't use it as a drug at one time. It was used. It was used as some sort of not a drug, but I forget what they used it for. But it was used as a form of medicate for pain. It was for pain. You know, the poppy seed cocaine was for pain. But then, of course, these devils, they're going to turn it into a drug. Or, the poppy seed, they're going to find a way to turn it into heroin. You see. Those are your drug dealers right there. These are the people that create drugs. And what do they use drugs for? The Europeans, they use drugs to drug people. They use drugs, alcohol, drugs, whatever. The first thing they think about is how to drug people, especially females, to sexually assault them. That's really one of the reasons why they created drugs. To knock people out. Children, women, men, so they can molest or kill or do something to them or rape them, sexually assault them. That's what they came with drugs for. You see, we didn't do that. We didn't. It was no criminal thing on our part. We actually used marijuana and at one point cocaine for. Now I'm not saying use no cocaine today, but what I'm saying is it was used as like a numbing, like a to give a numbing effect. Say if you had toothache, things like that, or you needed some sort of something to deaden the pain. That's what we used it for. You see, so and yeah, on wounds, yeah. A lot of things we use on wounds. You see, cocaine, you know, because they use that because they know that that's what those were used for. But of course, like I said, they got to turn it into a drug to sell and get people addicted on it. You see, that was their contribution to the use of the plants and stuff. To try to figure out a way to monetize that, sell drugs and get people addicted on that. Let's see. Anyway, so y'all do me a favor. Can y'all go and hit the because we have an American Indigenous Street Music Festival. Can y'all promote this? Help come out there and shout out promoting the American Indigenous Street Music Festival, the Republic of America, the ROA we're putting on, the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. This is for our people. This is for us. This is for those of us who are acknowledging that we are American Indigenous. That goes for all of our American Indigenous brothers and American Indian tribes and whatnot. All of our people. We celebrating on June in the month of June, the 22nd and 21st and 22nd, the month of June, which is going to be on Saturday and Sunday, the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. So it's like a month away. So come on out. Everybody, look, we got like, I want to say, I got to see how much. We got another 5. Well, are we at 10 grand yet? We should be at 10,000. But can everybody please go and hit the link. Go and hit the link for the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. Go and hit the link for that and contribute to it because we almost at our goal. The goal was to raise 15,000, and we're pretty much almost there, right? Well, we get $8,600, so we need another $7,000. That's all we need. We got 96 supporters. We need another $7,000 to make our goal. We're at 8,600, maybe a little under 7,000, but we're at 8,600. So can y'all please go and because we're trying to get to 15,000, we got 8,600. So can y'all please go? Again, the people who donated, we got so many shirts we giving out. We're gonna get to you. I promise. We done sent out shirts already. So, go and donate to the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. Go hit the link and please support that. That's for us. That's gonna be like our pilgrimage. I want the American Indigenous Street Music Festival, which is taking place in Atlanta. This is our first one, and we plan on doing it every year. I want this to be our pilgrimage. I want all American Indigenous people to come from everywhere, not just the United States, but from the Caribbean. If your family's Jamaican, Haitian, whatever, you American, man, because that's all in America. We got to stop with this nonsense that, America is only the United States. America is South America, Central America, the islands, we all American. That's why I said our people are everywhere. They all over. So if you acknowledge that you are American Indigenous, then we want you to come out or support the festival, help us promote it, give money to it, donate to this. We're trying to raise another $7,000. So can y'all help us with that? We at 8,600. We're trying to reach our goal, which is 15 grand. We need $7,000. So somebody come through and let's hit this Cash App up, and we want you to come out. We inviting everybody. It's free. We're going to have vendors out there. We're going to have food out there. We're going to be playing music out there. We're going to be jamming. We're going to be selling the feathered head crowns out there. The feathered head crowns that go up in the air. That's all real American Indigenous feathered head crowns. So we're going to have all that out there. We're going to have fun. We're going to have food. We're going to be playing all American Indigenous music. This is an American thing. We celebrating our American roots. Y'all clear on that? So go and hit that up. And the people, trust me, I haven't forgot y'all. I promise I'm going to get y'all shirts to y'all. They still going out. We still packing shirts. We've been sending out a lot of shirts. We busy, man. We're going to get your shirts to y'all. I promise you. I'm always a man of my word. And we want everybody to come out. It's free. We want everybody to celebrate this. Spread this. This is the first American Indigenous Street Music Festival. Everything we was doing before was based on Africa and all that. We're not doing nothing based on Africa no more. You see? You see? So please go and hit the American Indigenous Street Music Festival link. Donate to the festival. We're trying to get another 7,000. We can do that, and we can do that. Let's do that. You see, I understand it's the first time we're doing it, but we can do that. See, please hit the link up. If you give more, if you give 60, we send you a T-shirt. You give 80, we send you 2. If you give 100, we send you 3 shirts. So again, more than that, like I said, we gotta see about 4 shirts. We could do that. And like I said, we've been giving shirts out. I've been giving people their shirts out. So if we didn't get to you, trust me, we're gonna get to you. So please donate. Let's make this happen. We need another $7,000. You know, let's kick it up, please. And join the Republic of America. Join the Republic of America worldwide. We're a worldwide community. Join the Republic of America. We're a worldwide community. So we got people in the UK. We got people in Canada. You know, our Canadian brothers and sisters. We all American, man. We American by nationality, and we need to start embracing that. All right. So I'm pretty much done. 63 minutes in. Join the Republic of America. Hit the link. Donate, and also join my Mentellect Patreon. Could y'all, support? Join the Mentellect Patreon. I got shows and things I do every night. Broadcasts I do. I can't put that on Facebook. Not Facebook, on YouTube, and I stopped posting on Facebook. So join my Mentellect Patreon and hear the nightly cast I do. Raw and uncut, real, nothing but real truth. And I stand on it. So, all right, I'm about to wrap this up. Got 64 people watching, 64 minutes in. And I did my hour. So go and subscribe, hit that join Mentellect Patreon, join all of my donate again to the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. Check out Sister Enra Vanzetta's American Indigenous channel, American Indigenous channel. Check out all of that. And so all right, I'm about to close this out. I'm gonna be back here on Friday. I'm about to close this out in the name of Amen, by the power of Amen. You stand on Jesus. Who said that? NWA killed too. What did he say? Sue the taxpayers and ban pit bulls because parents are paid to breed. What is this guy talking about? Okay, I don't know. But anyway, I'm about to close this out in the name of Amen, by the power of Amen. And Amen we trust, and Amen we thank, and Amen we continue forward forever. So again, go and please give to the Street Music Festival, and come on out and celebrate with us June 21st and June 22nd in Atlanta at Rodney Cook Senior Park. Like I said, it's free. We're going to have vendors out there. We're going to have shirts out there. I'm going to be out there speaking. I'm going to be out there running my mouth Saturday and Sunday. We're going to have live music. We're going to have food out there. So come on out. The American Indigenous Street Music Festival. This is our thing. For us. For the real American Indigenous people. Exactly. Bye, Eric. Somebody got him out of here. All right. What is this guy talking about? Okay. Well, like I said, bye, Eric. Talking nonsense. Bye, Eric. He's gone. But anyway, hit the links down below. Check us out. And with that, we are out.